one. Over to you, Christian, for your case study.
Sure, sounds good. Thank you a lot, Henry. So yeah, it's the Prod MBA is finally over, and welcome to my case study. I wanted to throw a slide in here for why I even took part at Prod MBA. That was at first learning how real product management works. Second, get practical work on every part of the product lifecycle, and to have something to show off in the end, and fight the imposter syndrome. I think as a junior, it's pretty important to have like some validations or to know how to validate their own work. And finally, combine that all to have the skills to begin a new mid-level product manager job. So to aim to get forward in my career. So what did I do in the Prod MBA? Is basically building up a product from 0 to 1 and based on a problem statement. So we believe that young professionals are having a hard time living healthy, was my problem statement. And what I have done there is to trying to achieve at first problem market fit by validating that sustaining a healthy life is a real acute problem for young professionals. So how did I go on with that? I interviewed 5 people, did some discovery calls with them, defined in that sense also what healthy living is, and validate the acquisition channels. So see how I can actually get to people who are in that niche and might have that problem. How does it look? I asked the people in the discovery calls a few different questions, and to just get a sense out of that niche, to get a sense of what they think. And out of there, I could hear some frustrations. I wrote them down. I clustered also like the different parts there and built the frustrations out of them. And out of the frustrations, you can build up opportunities. So just brought ideas of how you can change that or what is important for them. So the most important learnings or the most interesting are that my basic assumption that weight loss is a big part of healthy living is just a part of the problem. So it's not like the main thing, but it's just like a side note, more or less. And that time and motivation belongs together. So the more time you're using, the less motivation you have to invest into your healthy life. And out of that, I've built up at first a product vision and later a product strategy, which is we coach young professionals achieve the best version of themselves in a month with a cost-efficient journey to a healthy life without sacrifices. This is like that all together. The objective 2 was to validate the offer market fit with the MBO I just called out. So I could say it again, of course, you will. It's based on that. We coach young professionals achieve the best version of themselves in a month with a cost-efficient journey to a healthy life without sacrifices. So what I have done is to try to reach out to people and to get them to sign up for a beta program. I will show that in a second, and actually get also a sense of what that branch is doing. So what are the competitors and what are they doing good and what are they not doing so good? And also get over what I've done there more is build up a story canvas and product vision, but I won't go on with that in this presentation. So this is how the landing page looks. It's just the MBO more or less on the page and with some, trying to get people to sign up for a beta program. I've achieved a 17% sign-up conversion. So that was pretty good, but note to that, the outreach was quite low. So it might not be that, it could be lower if the outreach is higher. In the Blue Ocean strategy canvas, I've compared my product with a few different possibilities or other products. So HelloFresh is a competitor. Overall blogs, so Instagram blogs, YouTube blogs, or something like that is also a source where a lot of people, young people especially, are looking for advice to live healthier. Also a weight loss app called Noom, and then the green line is us. And the differentiation in that environment could be done by being better in time efficiency, cost efficiency, and that it's actually suitable for every lifestyle, especially busy lifestyles. So yeah, the validated product vision again, for the third time, but I think it's quite important because it's all based on that vision. We coach young professionals achieve the best version of themselves in a month with a cost-efficient journey to a healthy life without sacrifices. Yeah, the objective 3 was to test, validate that easiness, cost efficiency, and time efficiency is valuable for our target customers, as well as feasible as main points. So again, we had 17% of the landing page visitors joining the beta waiting list. The second part I will show off in a second is the lean canvas I built up and a strategic roadmap to evaluate that it's valuable and feasible. And again, the aim is to make it as easy as possible, as there are many competitors. So the place is very crowded, the space. And also building up a customer journey map. So how should the customers or end users go through the application? And there, just as a note, use straightforward approach, no waste allowed. So no, take on a lean approach that the users don't get lost in the journey. The main points from the lean canvas is that I'm using a meal plan as basis for the whole product. And that it's again going down to the niche of young professionals who are maybe living alone. That was one of the starting points from, because it's easier to build a prototype for them if they're just cooking for themselves, and broaden that space even more later, because it's a product maybe for everyone. The revenue streams could come either from a premium model or from affiliate. I will go on or go in on that topic on the next slide. And again, being the cheapest and most customizable is also quite important for the users. So the roadmap, how did we build up that? Was just to I partnered up with somebody to build up 10 ideas each in 10 minutes. We voted on them. So what were the best ideas? Put the best ideas, the best 4, on an impact effort matrix to see what is actually achievable. And based on that, we built up our roadmap. The first step is completely based on the core value. So having a customizable meal/health plan based on super easy healthy recipes, that's the core value. The second step is to build up some ease. So enabling the user to track every meal in unbelievable simple and enable heavy customization. We're going back there to the vision where we're saying the 0 constraints. So how can we actually enable the user to also eat maybe fast food sometimes? And that's maybe done by tracking. So enabling the user to track every meal, really simple. And the third step, differentiation, thinking about how can we actually be way better than the other competitors. And that's, for example, being done with integration of other services. So for example, with gorillas, or delivering ready to eat meals or something like that. The users could save a lot of time through that if they want to. And so it's a good step we could look into in the future and go into more detail on how that could be achieved. This is the customer journey map. As you can see on the bottom, half of that is just the onboarding and half of that is the core value. And that's quite important because you want to hold the product as simple as possible. At first, we are asking the customer why he signs up. So what are the goals the user's looking for? Asking what food does he like or dislikes, so we can actually exclude the food he dislikes. And also ask how much time the user wants to spend, because that's a key point of the product again. The core value is based on a meal plan, on a shopping list, which is really simple, so the user can also save time in the shopping step. For sure, you have to have recipes in there, so make it as simple as possible to show the recipes, and also, make it beautiful, more or less, in that step. So the user actually wants to cook that meal. And the last step is there that the user actually has his food or her food in their hands and have something done. So objective four was to validate that the core value of our product is enabling to live healthy, cost efficient, and in the simplest way, and that the customers value this. So what I've done is onboard 4 beta testers in a no-code app I built up, and I finally used the product market fit engine to determine the PMF score. So this is how the prototype looks. In the back, you see the onboarding slides, which are asking you again about how much time you want to spend, the food you are not liking, and building up sympathy in the same time, because that's quite important. What I've also heard from the discovery calls, people want to have an individualized process, and sympathy is quite important there too. In the front, you see the core value, the meal plan, a cook mode, a done page where you can rate the recipes and gather some data, and actually a shopping list, which is not looking that good currently, but it's how it could be, or it should be improved for sure. So what were the results in the onboarding? I have a few things I should keep doing. So the time effort is good. So it's really easy to go through the app, the experience, the flow, that was really liked by the users. And there, as it's a prototype, there are a lot of things to improve, which is the personalization. People want to have it really much personalized. The shopping list should be improved, and the interface could be improved at some points. I'm not a designer, so that's completely a good feedback. So what was actually the responses? I asked them, would they miss the product if they couldn't use it anymore? And 3 said, or would you be disappointed if you can't use the product anymore? 3 said they would be somewhat disappointed. 1 said he's not disappointed. So that's an indicator that there could be something valuable in there, and that I could go on with that. Also, while testing the product, it's not only busy young professionals, it's also lazy people who just don't want to use that much time on that. And that's like a quite interesting and important niche probably. So again, what did they like? That they understood the core value and they liked it, that the UX, the user experience, that the flow and that the application was overall quite easy. And the onboarding was like too, and that it's building up sympathy. What could be improved? It should be more personalized. The interface can be improved, and some people ask for more information, some ask for less information, and to combining them is another question. So how could the short-term roadmap look? Individualization was 1 point. A working shopping list was another, and also to have real recipes. So to test out the core value it delivers, the final goal is then to have a working app or prototype. Right, what I personally also want to do is to test assumptions, preventing the product to succeed. So to really test out all the assumptions I have. Make a second outreach campaign to maybe gain also some more beta testers, probably for a second or third cohort I could onboard, and dig deeper into the different process steps so I can learn also more for my skill set. I didn't change the roadmap up much because I still think it's valuable after the onboardings. And yeah, what was the process? At first, understanding the niche, understanding the problem, exploring in that space and validating it, building up and validating the minimal viable offer. Ideate, design a solution finally, and validate that, build up a prototype and validate that, and then think about what could we do next. And what is quite important, build, measure, learn. So you're always aiming to learn something. What are the principles I build up here is you have to earn the right to develop and prove that there's value. That the details mostly don't matter until you have the concept right. So that you are actually delivering value is the most important step. That great product management is only achieved by improving and revising the process constantly. that opinions, yours and from customers, from single customers, assumptions which need to be validated. Validation is the only way to see if you're doing good work and that the customer is the most important stakeholder. And finally, the last slide about me. I am a young, passionate product manager who built his own product with a focus on product strategy, customer discovery, and value creation. And that is enabling me to deliver results instantly in any environment.
Excellent. Very interesting to see. Nice to see as well, actually, that the obviously, you know, that final stage you worked on with the prototype itself. Great to see. Excellent. I'm just going to go through really quickly, just bullet points, you know, notes that I took from the presentation, and then we'll talk about some more actionable, broader things to focus on. So going through quickly, you know, it's nice that you started with your learnings. I think that's always important, that habit of reflection. So that was great. On the objectives, the OKR 1, yeah, I thought this was really concise and clear. You just simply said, here's the objective, here were the key results. And then you also explained why we were doing the discovery call. So, you know, quote, getting a sense of what they think. So that me as a listener, I'm understanding what, you know, why are you showing me this board? And you give that context, and then you gave just a few highlights as well. So that was excellent. One thing, common theme I'll talk about after, it wasn't that clear. So you suddenly go, here's the landing page in MBO. And I'm thinking, you know, obviously me as Henry, I know what you're talking about, but me as some interviewing, or even, you know, if you're pitching this, presenting findings to stakeholders, just always explaining, what is this? Why is it important? Giving context as well. So when you said sort of about the outreach and you got 17%, just giving, you know, relativity. So like, okay, is that good or bad, and why? And why are we doing that key result? Same thing with the, you know, Blue Ocean. You just went straight in and went, you know, here's the Blue Ocean, here's these other companies, here's what we do. It wasn't actually clear to me, like, why, you know, here's our Blue, here's how we, you know, here's the gap we identified in the market, right? These other competitors are doing X, Y, and Z, and we're doing A, B, and C really well. So again, putting it in really simple terms. I thought your lean canvas was excellent. You talked through what it is, why is it important. Same with the roadmap. Again, with the customer journey map, though, it lacked what I call a bridge. So you suddenly go, here's a customer journey map. It's like, okay, well, why, you know, why are you showing me this? Why is this important? Having just gone from the strategic roadmap, why is this here now? Saying something really simple, like, you know, having mapped out our roadmap, we then decided to really focus in on that first solution we're going to work on. So we mapped out the customer journey, for example. Going forward to the product market fit engine, this was the best part of, well, no, you did. So here you went, we used the product market fit engine to determine a PMF score without explaining what that is in any way. Okay, this is a very new concept. Now, obviously there are limitations of this, you know, the speed of presentation, but again, always explaining what this thing is, why is it important. Saying that, though, the next few slides were the best part of the presentation. I thought were very strong, really, really strong. You told us stories. These are, you know, here are the things that I heard from the discovery calls. They always mention simplicity, the word cloud here, great storytelling. You know, here's the things that came up, and this was, quote, an indicator there could be something valuable here to explore further. Imagine if you're pitching this opportunity to stakeholders to you know, go to their, hey, give me 500 grand so I can build a team and explore this further. That kind of storytelling is so important. So important. You're telling the story about the opportunity. So those are the specific points. And I think, you know, and just in terms of things to improve upon broadly. So number one, explain concepts. Always. Because the more senior you get, you're going to be presenting to non-product people. So things like a lean canvas, discovery call, product market fit engine, MBO, people have no idea what these are. And even if they do, let's say MVP, you do not want them to be misinterpreting those terms. So we call this illusion of alignment, where they hear the word MVP and they go, oh yeah, I know exactly what it is. But your interpretations are completely different. So you need to hammer home repeatedly, what is this thing? Why is it important? So explain concepts. 2, just use silence more. I think your tone was excellent. I thought it was very good. You've got a fun way of presenting. It's engaging just naturally. Just use silence more on key bits. Like, here's the product vision. And then you read it out emphatically. So just those kind of pauses. 3, bridging. I thought it was the big thing to improve upon. So again, when you show the strategic roadmap, and then it's like, okay, well, and you go, here's the landing page, or here's the lean canvas. So just explaining, okay, what is this thing? Why am I showing it to you? Why is it important for us? Reinforcing it. Good. And final thing, just storytelling, I thought was very good actually. So just tell more stories as you did with the product market fit engine. Here's the kind of themes that were coming up. These learnings that I'm showing you now, that gave us an indication that there's a big opportunity here. So that's really important. And just, zooming out, I think, Christian, over, in terms of your performance, I think it's been great having you on the program. Like you always bring a really good energy, which is important. Great energy. You put the work in as well. I thought that was excellent. And I think, the one thing to focus on long term, for you as a aspiring product leader, just quite simply getting more repetitions. If we look at I noticed with this, when you're really comfortable with these concepts, you can explain them in very simple terms.
Yeah.
So I got and it makes complete sense, right? You're early in your journey. So just you're going to get way more comfortable with all of these concepts if you keep using them.
Yeah.
So, whatever happens with your next role or what you're doing at your current company, just really push yourself to keep putting everything into practice, because you already talk as a senior person, but you just need that depth that's missing, which again is completely fine. It's where you're at early in your journey. I think if you just get more, don't focus on trying to learn a million new things, just focus on mastering these core competencies, and you'll be a senior PM in a year or two if you get the opportunity and take the opportunity of putting everything we've covered into practice.
Cool. Sounds good.
How do you feel you're at in terms of the results those learnings you started with at the beginning? Imposter syndrome, comfortable with the product life cycle?
I think, as I'm pretty junior and I didn't use I didn't do anything in many areas we covered. So it was pretty hard sometimes, but I learned a lot through that because it was so hard. And now I also know how to validate my own work through just validation by customers and so on, and to actually get to have that idea in your mind. There is no perfect problem, no perfect product, and no one can do better work than the validation saying, more or less. So
yeah, good. So that is a profound learning, and it's a good one to have early on in your career. The customer knows way more than you ever will. Yeah. Good. No, excellent. Honestly, I thought a great presentation. The feedback, I'm pushing you always. So it was great, but we want it to be excellent.
Sure.
So great work. And we'll see you on the graduation call later. And I think, other thing, keep working on that prototype. You've got time in December, work will probably be a bit calmer. Just keep working on it, do a few more iterations, because again, what are you doing? You're getting much more comfortable. You're building that depth of experience as well.
Yeah, that's true.
Excellent. Well, look, have a good afternoon, and we'll speak later for the graduation call as well.
Perfect. You too.